All right, everybody, welcome back to Beans No Ball. To kick off the NFC side of our predictions right here. Christian, we get to start off your NFC East. And
Yep.
now I know you get to kick it off with the Cowboys. They won the division last season, so I already know this one's going to take about 20 minutes, so let's just get it started.
Yeah, so the Cowboys, obviously the whole turmoil was been happening in the beginning of the offseason, especially during free agency. Jerry saying the typical, we like our guys, not signing out to help improve this team. Pretty much the biggest signing out of CeeDee Lamb in free agency was obviously Eric Kendricks, which honestly really helps our linebacker core knowing. Yeah, I still love Zeke, but let's be real here. I'll get into that in a bit right now too, but specifically looking at the defense, the linebackers, that's the issues we had last season at defense with the linebackers. We really didn't have that one main guy at linebacker other than Van Der Esch, right? But he was injury prone and it was unfortunate he had to retire. But Eric Kendricks being the anchor of this linebacker, especially with DeMarvin Overshown going to step up in the south side south linebacker spot, and then Damon Clark on the weak side, which is two young linebackers, and DeMarvin Overshown. I'm very high on him. I'm really expecting him to have a really great season under Eric Kendricks, hopefully to help him. He's already speaking about Mike Zimmer, about his defense is already well great. And then our rookie, Marius Lafu, who's probably going to get some snaps here and there because the Cowboys want to know what he's going to bring with this linebacker situation. Now with the offense, pretty much the only thing that's holding this offense back is obviously the running back situation. All the meme going on, all the typical. This in 2019, this would have been deadly. Dalvin Cook signing. I don't know what you think about that because I have my thing about it. Dalvin Cook starting to grow on me on this, but I know you had some couple thoughts. We've been talking about this for the past week since he got signed.
Yeah, and I think it's not online that you saw. I think you got it directly from me that this would have been quite the running back core in 2019. But yeah, look, I mean, we if I'm not mistaken, I did say the Cowboys were a solid landing spot for Dalvin Cook when we made the video about the remaining free agents. And I mean, look, it's obviously not Derrick Henry. It's not what you guys wanted at the start of the offseason, but to the point that where it was, I mean, he was probably your best option. And I mean, I like the move just because of what you guys have right now. Because what you guys right now, it's Royce Freeman, Zeke, Deuce, and Dowdle. Which Dowdle, I actually do have
We cut Royce actually, so right now it's Zeke.
Okay, you cut Royce.
Dowdle and Deuce. Yeah.
Okay, so I'm high on Dowdle if I'm being honest. I think he's gonna grow into his own this season, but I mean honestly, as for Zeke, I don't expect much for him, and I mean, I think Dalvin Cook really has the opportunity, which right now he's only on the practice squad if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, besides the practice.
I think overall, I think Dalvin Cook's gonna, hopefully find himself a little more. I think like what we used to see the Zeke and Pollard duo. I think we could kind of get obviously not the same, but a resemblance of Dalvin Cook and Rico Dowdle.
Yeah, I could honestly say that with Rico being at the two spots, since he is basically replacing TP at the second, which one or the other, whether it's Zeke and Dowdle or Cook and Dowdle, one or the other, it could be exactly like that situation there. But it's still gonna be a little rusty on the backfield, especially supporting Dak Prescott. And then back on the defense, the only concerns I have is we're gonna be without DeRon Bland for 6 to 8 weeks, and then Diggs is coming down from his ACL injury, so I'm gonna expect Diggs to be a little rusty the first couple games right then and there. But obviously the stars, it's going to be Diggs, Jay Lou, who is the unsung hero of this Cowboys team, very underrated guy that I've been high on since we drafted him. Andrew Booth's going to get a couple snaps here and there that we got from the trade for Nashawn Wright for the Vikings. And then another thing to add too, Kalen Carson, our late round rookie, he is going to be in the starting role. I believe so. He's going to be in the starting role. So that's going to be our corner. That's going to be our pretty much our secondary for the first couple games until DeRon Bland comes back. But Kellen Carson, he's been having a good camp, shining in preseason. Jerry, he seems to love him. The defense starts to get adjusted. So Mike Zimmer, I'm trusting Mike Zimmer, whatever the hell he's going to do with his defense, because it's such a big boost from Dan Quinn.
And with Mike Zimmer is like the one thing too. Like I know, you had your own issues with Dan Quinn, but like when I see Mike Zimmer, I mean, yes, like I love what he brings schematically to your defense, but the only thing for me is like your defense has, you took a bunch of losses and you're struggling with the injuries. So execution wise, how's that defense going to be? I'm not expecting, like you said, last year probably was like the twilight of your defense. This year, I'm expecting a step back overall. I mean, you know, you got better schemes, but probably not as good, specifically player-wise and talent-wise.
The loss of Fowler, the loss of Armstrong, those are really gonna hurt us. Fowler, I really love Fowler.
Jonathan Hankins too. I mean,
big boy Hank. But the thing with the D line, we did have some on there.
But
Linval Joseph, Carl Lawson, but he ended up getting cut. Linval Joseph, and then Jordan Phillips that we got from the Bills. So there's a lot of big guys in there that we did got to fill in the role for the run game. So I'm hoping that the rush defense is going to really improve right then and there. And then obviously Micah is going to be rotating from linebacker to edge. So I'm really expecting some good stuff from this pass rush. But really, I expect the loss to hurt us. And the secondary, that's going to be one thing that I'm really, really going to eye on with this Cowboys defense.
Yeah, and I think that's like I said, you know, that's kind of what I'm agreeing. And, you know, as we talk about secondary, the second place team, the reason they didn't win the division last season, the Philadelphia Eagles, that's secondary. And that's what I'm going to start off right here. They retooled it, I mean, to me, phenomenally. Obviously, drafting perfect, right to the point. Drafted Terrion Arnold and Cooper DeJean, two of my highest rated cornerback talents in the draft. Love those picks for them. Picking up CJ Gardner-Johnson, I mean, you know, you rekindle the nostalgia, you know, that Super Bowl run and the time he was there. I mean, he was great in Philly. Maybe he rekindles that old success, but don't expect him to be as good as, you know, he once was. He really took a hit when he went to Detroit, and I think it was that pectoral injury or whatever that was that knocked him out early in the season. You know, that also did have an effect. So maybe recovering from it fully, he does kind of come back to his old self. We'll wait and see. But the big addition, above all else, you know, Saquon Barkley. And that just in so many ways,
it's another big boost to the run game.
Upgrades the run game, which we already know they have a top run game just with Jalen Hurts himself. And I mean, we knew the run game did take a step back with DeAndre Swift, which, you know, we love Swift, but, you know, he didn't get the success he wanted here. I think Saquon's really going to thrive here. And I know they lost, I mean, you know, the anchor of the O-line and Jason Kelce, big boy Kelce. I mean, it's gonna be known, but I think with a quality elusive back in Saquon, it's not going to be as noticeable as a lot of people might think.
Yeah, it is going to be a very huge loss, but I think you forgot the one important thing, backtracking to the defense. The secondary took a big hit. James Bradbury, he's out for 6 to 8 weeks, so obviously that's going to take just this morning, so that's going to take a really big hit. I know a lot of people have mixed emotions about Bradbury. I know a lot of them were like, oh, okay, good, he gets burned, this and that, but he is still one of your top corners on this team. Right now, you're left with a big play, Darius Slay still in the cornerback spot, and that leaves room for your two rookies.
But I think that gives the rookies, you know, that opportunity to really grow, and that's what, I mean, to me, I think they're going to be a great duo going into the season.
I'm really looking high on Quinell Mitchell. Cooper DeJean, I know just because he's white, breaking the barriers for the corners, but these two, they're going to have to step up in the absence of Bradbury, right? Because Darius Slay, he can't be doing everything else if Quinell Mitchell and Cooper DeJean are going to be just, you know, not living to the expectations that they expect to. Especially, you know, looking at this Eagles schedule, which is fairly all right there, but their defense, just like last season, you're going to expect something specifically with the secondary. Now, the front seven, honestly, I don't have any issue with this front seven. I mean, you still got the youngsters, Jordan Davis and Jalen Carter, who are really the big anchors of that. Then you guys ended up getting Bryce Huff, Devin White too, which, you know, he had his time with Tampa, started having a little regress, but he is still a very
and the addition of those two
reliable
linebackers.
Yeah,
the addition of those two linebackers, obviously more than retooling that linebacking core after they lost Hassan Reddick, which in hindsight it looks like a phenomenal thing that they moved on from Reddick after the shenanigans he's pulling in New York.
And I think his as a pest gone after that here, and then the offense with Jalen Hurts. Sure, look, Jalen, this offense, look at this offense, this O-line, 10 because of Jason Kelce, but you still got Mailata, you still got Dickerson, and you still got Lane Johnson. Those are 2-3 big dudes right there. But when you're looking at Jalen Hurts specifically, you saw his decline that he had last season. I'm not counting those little butt sneaks, those little 1-yard rush touchdowns. When we're looking at his quarterback play, his passing ability, and what has been going on, you see a drop off from last season. And coming into the season, you're gonna have all the support, especially with the backfield with Saquon Barkley. You upgraded at the running back position if Saquon is top back if he's healthy. That can go with a lot of players there. And with the receiver room, you got AJ Brown, you got Devonta Smith, and then you guys just acquired Jahan Dotson from the Commanders here. So just looking at this offense on paper, it's quite stacked there. So again, it's with Jalen Hurts, it's gonna mostly rely on him to see what's gonna happen here.
Yeah, and that was a big thing for me. I think, Jalen Hurts has a lot to prove, but he has a really good team in front of him to do that. And one last thing, it's now or never for Nick Sirianni. Like, as we said in one of those prior videos, this season's going to tell us a lot about him. And we'll move it into, the bottom half of this division. And in third place, the New York Giants now. I mean, this was a team that, I mean, I don't have too much to say overall. I mean, look, the additions and subtractions, they in a way, I guess, cancel out. They're still kind of that bottom tier NFC East team, but obviously the big loss being Saquon Barkley and his replacement Devin Singletary. That's not moving the needle at all. I mean, I love drafting Malik Neighbors. That's going to be great, but I mean, just overall, it's not great. I mean, obviously also picking up Brian Burns on defense. That's a huge piece. Pairing with Dexter Lawrence. And I know you still see Kayvon Thibodeau as that big name. I still see more to be desired from him after like 3-4 years in the league. But my main thing, the acquisition of Brian Burns still surprises me for the Giants. I mean, this doesn't seem like a team that should have made that big deal, especially when you're letting Xavier McKinney walk. So you're gonna bolster up the defense, but also let the secondary suffer. So I'm not sure what the Giants are really doing here, but I mean, that's they're gonna keep it going, I guess.
Yeah, we already know the turmoil with the Giants, especially like I mentioned it before. The whole call with Saquon Barkley, like the general manager in general, with the way they evaluate these players, it's bad in general. I mean, look, we already know. Not gonna even go backtrack with Daniel Jones' contract, him looking not so well during the preseason there, but his offense, sure, you got Malik Neighbors to really boost up that receiving core, but it's really not gonna come to any help if you have Daniel Jones throwing you the ball. And not even that, if for whatever reason, if Daniel Jones decides to get benched, that means you got Drew Lock coming into place there, and that's not going to be a bigger thing there. And then look, Neighbors, Hyatt, Wandell, Slayton, together receiving core, it's okay. It's a whatever core. Neighbors and Hyatt carry that core by a lot. Hyatt had his little not regression, the opposite of that. He had a little incline towards the end of the season. Hyatt was starting to show what he was doing in Tennessee here, but this defense specifically, not just the offense, both sides of the ball, it's in a lot of turmoil for these two. I don't know how much the defense is going to do, especially with Brian Burns and Lawrence, who are really going to be putting up a lot of work on the front seven. And we're going down in the bottom of the barrel, the Washington Commanders. Big drafted. Jaden Daniels is just going to be the starting quarterback that they announced a while ago here. And with this offense, they got B-Rob at the running back spot, which, he came back from the gunshots. And I still feel he has a lot of potential to grow as a player, looking into this offense. And then they got Dan Quinn as their head coach in the offseason. Now, I have my thing on Dan Quinn, especially how he led the defense of the Cowboys for the first 3 years. It was pretty much up to date with how he was. And then I don't know what his scheming was, but, a lot of things with the head coach, especially with the 28-3 situation, a lot of people don't know as Dan Quinn as head coach to be a starter here. But when we're looking at the Commanders here, I don't see anything, honestly, still going for them. Sure, the defense. I
mean, I will tell you one thing, like, on the offensive side of the ball, the acquisitions, I mean, it's pretty shit, if we're being honest. I mean, all you got was Austin Eckler, washed. I mean, I guess Biotis, that's a good,
Biotis is, he's the center
I'll
for
say
us.
That's like the one like bright spot on what they added on us, because apart from that, Zach Ertz, also washed, so nothing really to show for there. But on the defensive side of the ball, look, you could make your case that Bobby Wagner's washed, but he still does have a lot in the tank, and as that veteran presence, he's still very valuable. So I do like them acquiring him. I like Frankie Louvu, Dante Fowler, of course, and I mean Jeremy Chin too at the safety position. I think it was a pretty good move. And I mean, for what it's worth, the guys they lost, I mean, the only big loss for me, Cam Curl came to my Rams, someone that I'm very high on, that we'll get into a little bit, but that's the only real loss. But that, like I said, that addition of Jeremy Chin, I guess it can kind of even off.
Yeah, this defense, it's going to be a bright spot for this Commanders. Dan Quinn stealing our cabbage here, but what do you got to tell you about Dorrance? He's honestly inconsistent when it comes to Dorrance. He gets you sacks, he can stop you the ball, but very inconsistent. Unlike Dante Fowler, the linebacker, him paired up with Bobby Wagner, sure, Wagner's getting to the old spot, but you're guaranteed he's still a tackling machine. Them two at linebacker is gonna be a nice duel for them two. And then when we're still looking at the front seven as well with Deron Payne and Jonathan Allen, that's still a pretty good duo there for the front seven. But this is another example of a team where, you know, you're getting the trust of Jaden Daniels, the rookie quarterback. I know a lot of people, they have their own ways. They don't think it's going to get done. But there's one thing about this Commanders team, it's this defense there. The offense too, I'm still not really fully high on that. But for sure, this defense is going to look at least somewhat decent for the Commanders.
Yeah, and I think, you know, to me, yeah, like I wasn't as high on Jaden Daniels. I mean, I'm never one to hate, so like I still, you know, want to see him succeed. But it's time to see, you know, I mean, the actual offense he has around him is gonna, you know, hold him back a bit. And, you know, on defense, one thing I was thinking a little while ago that I forgot to mention, you know, it's very similar to what's going on in Tennessee. You know, you got that mix of, you know, some washed guys, some pretty decent looking guys, and, you know, we'll see if, you know, those intriguing additions actually, you know, come and actually help this team. But once again, that wraps up our analysis on these teams. Now, Christian, I ended up starting it off last time, and of course it's your division, so I gotta know who you got winning this.
Yeah, so, you know, picture out Cowboys fans you want. I'm one of the unbiased ones here, but I'm not gonna expect a repeat for the Cowboys here. So once again, I'm gonna go with the Eagles here. I'm gonna have them go 12-5, winning this division here. Honestly, I could see Hurts really having a huge improvement this season here. But once again, the defense, that's going to be one questionable thing coming into this season. At second place, though, I will have my Cowboys, but I will have them go at 11-6 there. I still think one of the issues will come probably more in the beginning of the season, specifically looking at the losses of Deron Bland and the secondary. And it's going to be this defense right then and there. At the third spot, I'm going to go with the Commanders. I'm going to have them go 7-10. Okay, I'm having to go to Commanders 7-10 here. I think Jaden Daniels, I think he is going to be their guy, but it's another young examples that a couple quarterbacks in the league that we have. It's going to take some time for him to get adjusted with this Commanders team. And then bottom of the barrel, I got the Giants. I'm going to have them go 5-12 here. Give me another letdown season, especially with Daniel Jones at quarterback and this defense not being able to pull through with what they have.
Yeah, so you're not gonna like this, but yeah, once again, pretty similar on both of our sides, and I'll get it started. I mean, we know. I mean, I got the Eagles winning the division. I got them at 13-4 though. Obviously, our thing that we all know is, like, you know, we don't get repeat winners in this division, so it's almost obligated to switch it right back to Philly. No one else is gonna have an opportunity here. But look, to me, I mean, I love this offseason. I think they hit all their like, you know, glaring needs, and, you know, I'm pretty high on them overall. It's just, you know, it's all on Jalen Hurts now, and see what he can do. Now, going to number 2, again, I got your Cowboys right there. I got them going 10-7 though. I think into that, I think the start of the season might see some struggles just because, you know, that secondary still coming into its own. CD's barely coming back. So, well, that's probably my only reason I don't have them probably as high as you right now. With the Commanders at third place, 6-11. So, you know, once again, just one game off of you. I mean, the thing, like I just said at the end of the Commanders segment, like, I'm intrigued by Jaden Daniels, but, you know, he has no support. And as much as I like some of the additions on defense, you know, I don't really love it. So I can't really give them too much success right now. And of course, bottom of the barrel, got the Giants at 4-13. My thing with them, you know, Danny Dimes is a bum until he proves me otherwise. So I can't really expect offensively them to do much. And like I said earlier, you know, the addition of Brian Burns doesn't really make sense to me, and I don't think it's going to be enough to really put them over the top. So, you know, once again, I'll see the Giants keeping that bottom of the barrel. And yeah, that obviously wraps us up here. You know, once again, pretty much the same prediction. Yep. I think I will say, though, I think we can see some differences in these next 2 and possibly even in the next 3. So let's hopefully stick around for that. When tomorrow we hit the NFC North, Carbajal will definitely be very interested to see what we got to say there.
He's going to enjoy this.
Of course he will. So that's going to do it for us right now. Thank you guys for watching. Hope you like and subscribe, and hope to see you guys right back tomorrow morning for the NFC North.